Hi, this is Funny Minds, and I'm your host, Lynn B, and my co-host.
Edward Biss.
And today we welcome Jamie Raygoza. And Jamie, you got a lot of funny things here.
Jimmy definitely had.
You're, you're a mental health worker. You're a life coach. You have some kind of unicorn effect, which my scenario of that is like over the wall.
I'm excited about that.
But wait, this is like a certified laughter yoga leader. Never heard of it. We have a lot to discuss here.
I'm excited, man. This is awesome. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us who you are, and what you're doing.
I'm a man of many traits. I do so much. I like to just put myself out there and learn as much as I can. But yeah, my name is Jaime Raygoza. I have I'm a life coach and consultant. I use the unicorn method, which is basically the concept that everybody has hidden potential inside them, and all they have to do is believe in themselves, get the right tool set, and they can be successful in whatever they want to do. Mm-hmm. With that, it comes with a lot of wellness and really taking care of yourself and your body, really focusing on holistic healing. And that's where I got into laughter yoga. So laughter yoga is a concept that was developed in India. And it has been shared across several different countries, but essentially you're not going to be doing like yoga poses and silly things like that, but you are going to be acting silly, just really tapping into that inner child and being able to laugh and relax and release those endorphins into your head and just get into a relaxing state just by like natural laughter.
Yeah.
So
that's phenomenal. Like that really is honestly phenomenal.
Is that like the belly laughing? Like, you see something so ridiculous or you say something so retarded and you just start laughing and it comes right from your belly all the way up, and
you're not PC, Mom. You can't say that.
What can I say?
You can't say anything. But I love the approach. I love the approach because you're killing two birds with one stone. Mm-hmm. You're getting people collectively together, which is always a good thing. You're getting some unity, getting some fun going, getting something in the realms of yoga, but not really, but yet expressing yourself and letting it all go, letting that laughter out, and keeping an open mind for a period of time. And believe me, people can't get enough of that these days. So you're on fire.
Where do you do all of this, Jamie?
So a lot of the things that I do is online. I do sometimes do sessions at the park and nearby. I live in Newport Beach, California. So
okay.
I sometimes go at the beach, put on a blanket and just invite whoever wants to go, or I'll do like a group session at the park. But a lot of it does happen online. We have a really good community of people that just get together and we just kind of laugh it off.
You can't get enough of it. Honestly, I mean, these days, and yeah, I can't say these days. I mean, times have been crazy forever, but it depends on where you're at and what period of time you're in and what you're dealing with. But laughter is always the best medicine, as my mom says.
I always say that.
And it is a form of medicine in a communal situation where you're all gathering together and sharing that laughter, and that's phenomenal.
How big of a group do you usually have?
The smallest group, I say I just need at least 2 people. You can do it with one person. It's more effective with 2, but the more the merrier. The biggest group I've done is a group of 800 people. And
800 people. Where did you do that?
It was at a conference, and I just basically went with a big group. They asked for a 5-minute, 10-minute session, and I was like, okay, let's do it impromptu. Same thing. Mm-hmm. People, I was just having a conversation with somebody, and they're like, what is this that you do? Would you want to do it right now? And I was like, right now? And I was like, okay, let's do it. And I just got 800 people involved, and they started laughing. But it's really easy. You can do a session in 5 minutes, or it can be as long as an hour. They don't recommend longer than an hour. If not, you'll start getting dizzy because you're losing a lot of oxygen as you're breathing out a lot, and sometimes you get those wheezing laughters that you can't breathe. So you have to kind of.
So how do you get it started? Show us what you would do. How would you start all of this?
Okay, yeah, definitely. So I can do like a quick like 2-minute session right now. So
Sure, go ahead.
Do it.
So the first thing I would say is there's a direction that I do to kind of get your attention, to kind of stop laughing and pay attention. So it's ho ho ha 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 ho ho ha ha ha. So if both of you want to do it with me really together. So it's gonna be
Yes.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
1 ho ha ha ha. Perfect. When I say every time you do that, you're taking a deep breath in through your nostrils. And you're filling up your diaphragm as much as possible, and then you're letting them out as hard as you can. You should feel the pressure on your diaphragm. So what I say is that about 15 minutes of nonstop laughter can burn about 50 calories. So you're trying to really burn those calories. So get those muscles working. So it's going to be ho ho ha 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 ho ho ha ha ha.
Oh,
Perfect.
oh,
ha,
oh,
ha,
ha, ha, ha, oh,
oh,
oh, ha, ha, ha.
Perfect. And now we're going to go into the activity. So laughter yoga will have several different activities. One of my favorite ones is the milkshake activity. So you're going to pretend you're holding a cup of your favorite drink. I love milkshakes, so I always say milkshakes. So what you're going to do is you want to prepare it. So you're going to grab another cup and put your secret ingredient in. So you're going to pull up and go, ee. So you have to say it as loud as possible. If not, the ingredient's not going to mix well. So you have to say it and then take a deep breath. Ee. Now you're going to get the other one, the other side, and you're going to put another ingredient. Ee. You're going to shake it up and be like, ho, 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 ho. You're going to pour it all down your mouth. You're going to take a deep breath and let out a big laughter as long as you can. Perfect. So it's ho, ho,
Oh my God.
ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. And that's just an example of a small activity. And we do just different little things like that, just kind of like dorky stuff that really gets you to kind of just relax and have fun.
Yes, absolutely.
That's really great.
And I could see how that works. Honestly. No, honestly. I mean, it really does. If you want to take your mind off stuff.
Really? That's like with
it.
meditation, but meditation is a little bit different because, you're really focusing zoning and, everything's quiet and you're into yourself. But this is really another way of being, bringing it out and having the laughter come out and helping you emotionally to come out of like a funk that you're in, or, maybe something didn't go well for the day, and instead of stressing and having an anxiety attack, so you sit down and you do I'm not gonna forget this.
I think it's phenomenal.
I'm gonna do it on the plane and see. Well, first of all, if they don't throw me off, but I'm gonna do it on the plane and see who asks me, like, what are you doing?
Amy Raygoza.
Yeah, right. I know him. I do him. That's really funny.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Do you do comedy at all, or just
No comedy. I do try to make people laugh as much as possible, but just the organic way.
So is that what you call your unicorn effect, or that's your yoga laughter? Yes,
and we do part of the unicorn effect. It has different components of like knowing your potential, really discovering your why is it that you're doing, your purpose. And in there is also self-care, which is that little small component of that.
Okay. So you're helping people with their mind, their body, and spiritually. Okay. So I would imagine you're a vegan, vegetarian.
Why?
No, I actually I eat meat. I try to only eat chicken.
Why would you think he's a vegan?
I don't know, because he's into, he's into mental health, and he's a life coach, and usually those people are either vegetarians or vegans.
That's a stereotype. Are you kidding me?
I'm not stereotyping.
You know how many life coaches I know that eat the hell out of a cow? You kidding me?
Well, I was just asking.
I did, and to be fair, I did try it out for I think a good month, but then I'm Hispanic and I just can't live without my tacos. So it's really hard.
Yeah, because you're a normal human being that appreciates the art and the love of tacos. Are you
Yes.
kidding me?
I'm an enchilada person.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You know, we just had a guest on that's in the food business, and I was down in Mexico in Hermosillo, and to do a show, and lived on tacos for 3 days. But the tacos down there, because of the fact that they make their own tortillas and everything, is just different.
Yes, so good.
You can't replace that. So when you come back to America, it's a massive disappointment because even if you find a mom and pop, everybody's like, oh, mom and pop. It's still not quite what you get when you're there, and everything's regional, just like Italy and everything else. I mean, everywhere you go in Mexico or Italy, it's different. But
well, in California, you probably have a lot of good
California
Mexican restaurants.
I would say definitely more so than anywhere else. You'll probably have some more authenticity for whatever their region is. You know.
Yeah, we have a good amount of Hispanic food here, but you still can't beat something about the ingredients that they put in their handmade tortillas, and then the way they prepare the meat is just super different. Like you just can't.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're a good cook.
I try to be. I love cooking. I'm like, so far no one has died from my cooking yet, knocking on wood. So
well, that's good.
You know what I thought was,
otherwise you wouldn't be a very good life coach. You'd be killing your people.
The thing I thought was cool in Mexico was the amount of things that they will make a taco. Like here you get your 3 choices: beef, chicken,
pork,
and pork.
Yeah.
In Mexico, it's the sky's the limit on their fresh tortillas with their accoutrements, and it's you just don't need anything else. All you need is like Modelo, like a beer to go with it. That's all you need, and you're fixed. You go to Mexico and only eat one food and be happy with yourself.
Yeah,
it's true.
So tell us about you as a life coach, as mental health worker and life coach. How did you get into all of this?
Yeah, so like many of other people, I've had a lot of trauma growing up, and it was just my family, growing in a Hispanic household, we didn't believe in therapy or in any type of healing. It was kind of like you deal with it, you suppress it, and you drink it away. That was the way that I grew up with. However, going into college, I really learned what psychology is, what sociology was, and I got introduced to my first therapist, and it just changed my mind. I was able to really feel better about myself. I was able to break certain trauma patterns and trauma coping mechanisms that I had developed over the years. And I just really started to be healthy and happier. And I wanted to share that with other people. So I got certified as a mental health worker, started educating people on mental health techniques. And through that, I noticed that a lot of people, there's only certain things you're allowed to do based on the programs you're working with. There's always limitations, and people needed more. They needed more assistance, more guiding, more coaching. But as a mental health worker, you're only allowed to give the resources, and that's it. Teach them what they can, and then here you're on your own. So I really wanted to be more hands-on with the individuals. So I decided to get certified as a life coach, and really helping people, guiding them to what their passion is, stop feeling lost if they're feeling stuck. Sometimes we get in our own heads and it's so impossible to get ourselves out. And there's this really good metaphor. We're all inside of a jar, but we can't see our own label. So sometimes you need someone to go on from the outside to tell you what the label says, so that they can tell you what you're going through. And it's an amazing experience when you work with someone and you're just reflecting and talking with them and trying to tell them, this is what I want, this is where I'm going, but I just don't know what's stopping me. And then when you talk with people, sometimes the answer is in plain sight, but because we're so into our head, we miss it. So that's where I come in and really help them, like, hey, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm noticing, these are the patterns I'm seeing. And it could be something as real as you have a lot of stress, you just need to like have more of a work-life balance, or something of like, maybe you do need therapy, let me guide you to a right practitioner that can help you get that. Or maybe let's just add some laughter in your life and relax and add some really good coping mechanisms to be able to help you zone in, get out of your head in the day and go forward. So just really trying to create that transformation and bring that enlightenment to people to make it a little bit easier every day.
Do you think you'll go further from all of this? Being that you did the mental health worker and life coach. Do you think you'll go even further? Be a therapist, a psychotherapist, or
so the only thing with psychotherapy, and I was considering going that route. I don't want to go into actual diagnoses like with people with like
okay,
bipolar disorder or like chronic depression or like the big issues. I want to go with more the prevention portion. So if there's early stages, don't let it get to that point. So I want to be more of the preventative side versus the intervention side. So that was my biggest factor. And I'm actually in the process, I think by the end of this month, on finishing my doctoral program, where I have been studying on basically the effects of burnout and turnover on companies and things, and seeing like what are the motivators of people. So I will finish that this year, hopefully by July 1st. So hopefully I can bring more of research that I've conducted in the field into my practice.
That's wonderful. That's really like it's amazing. And you could work for a lot of businesses, because we all know that there's nothing but a lot of psychos working in the world today. A lot of people are burned out. They're burned out.
It's being burned out.
I say psychos, but I'm only teasing. But the burnout rate is so tremendous, and
Yes.
people are under so much stress, and just life in general right now, with the way we're living and what's going on, and the inflation, and people can't afford things, and they're maybe they're going to lose their home, or maybe they're going to lose their job, or where am I going to be? Are they going to raise the debt ceiling? Am I getting my Social Security check this month? I mean, that stress is absolutely phenomenal in this country. And yeah, working with companies would be a wonderful place for you to really start and try and help people on a day-to-day basis, really. And then they once they feel more comfortable and they're less stressed, they're going to do a better job for the company. So it's a win-win situation, and the company's not throwing away money, they're investing money.
Exactly. And just something that I recently learned from my research, I interviewed 24 individuals across 11 different states of the and they were all working in the mental health fields. They were either child support workers, mental health workers, social workers, just in the mental health social work field. 23 out of the 24 stated that they were feeling some sense of burnout. And this is across 11 states. And they were ages from 20 all the way to 70. So it was a very large range. And 23 out of 24 said that they were feeling burnout at their work. And when asked, why are you still here? They said a lot. I believe 18 out of the 24 said, I'm actually already looking for another job to leave. So they weren't even planning on staying. They're already in the process of leaving. It's just that they've been applying.
And which is it speaks volumes, because it takes a lot to get to that point. I mean, you have to go through 4 years of college. You have to do all the certification. I mean, there's so much that goes into being a social worker, or being in case management, and being a part of that world. To turn around after all that and go in a different direction speaks volumes. Because you bust your butt to get to that point, and for you to turn around and choose something else because it's burning you out is incredible. And I worked at a hospital. I dealt with it. I worked in case management, and I had social worker friends, and I seen their caseload, and they were loaded down. I mean, it was just incredible.
And especially since COVID, I mean, a lot of the medical profession has really been under a tremendous amount of stress. What they went through just in COVID alone. You know, the hours they had to work, the situation that they were in. Were they going to contract this? Were they going to bring it home to their family? You know, were they going to be the cause of someone's death? I mean, that's a lot to put on somebody.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter works in a hospital. She's not in a hospital setting. She works in peds, so she's across the street, but she's associated with hospital. She was in full garb, like if you were the whole suit, the whole container.
Yeah.
Like they weren't allowed to see any children unless they were in this whole protected suit. And you know, I was happy for that.
Body armor.
Yeah, I was happy that she was being protected, but I was still scared for her that, you know, at any time, you know, she could become infected and maybe not only hurt herself, but bring it home to her family, you know. Excuse me. And I think that was a very big fear for a lot of people for a very long time.
You know, I'm sitting here thinking about yoga laughter, and I'm just thinking about the fact that if you did yoga, I would laugh my ass off. That would be just watching you.
Well,
would be freaking hilarious.
I'd love to do chair yoga, but
chair yoga.
They have.
I would love to do martini yoga. Like,
but well, you know, at my age and having a bad back, you know, I can't do hot yoga or any of that, so I would have to do chair
she
yoga.
only has a bad back because she's an MMA fighter. Can't tell, but she is. She's deadly. She's so Brazilian.
I wish. But no, what you're doing is really interesting, and you know, you got to, once you finish, I mean, I would get my resume out there to everybody. I mean, you're in the perfect state.
Yes.
I mean, you're in California. You know, I mean, some of the most burnt out people in the world are down in California, for God's sakes, you know, with what they have to go through. You know, your poor state. I love the state of California as far as your weather, but the earthquakes, the mudslides, the fires. I mean, my God, you know, it's like, it's a great, wonderful state for the weather, but everything else is so scary, you know?
Yeah, there's this meme, this picture that I always like to refer to, where there's like this little dog drinking his coffee and the whole house is burning and they're like, everything's fine.
That's so California. Unless you've lived out there and you don't know, and I lived out there and I know. It's just, you know, it's, God bless them. You know, it is a beautiful state, and they do deal with their share of challenges.
They do. But it's a very expensive state to live in, though, unfortunately. Yes, very.
Which is why he has to have like 18 jobs.
Yeah. Or 18 degrees.
So now you get my background.
Yeah. I'm the pilot. I'm the co-pilot.
You can put your resume out to Universal and be set for life, you know? Or Paramount or somebody like that. You know, they'd be throwing people through the door at you all the time.
Do you have is your family from out there? You have family?
Yeah, so my family originated from Mexico. Now a lot of them are over here. All over the states, actually. I have people in Florida, Oregon, Utah, California, I think New York, Chicago, everywhere, all over the place.
You're all over the place.
So you're saying the wall didn't work, huh?
There's always a way through.
Right?
Yes, there's always a way to get through.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And you had a lot of close family where you are now.
Yeah, definitely. I have, I'm actually the first person in my family to move to Orange County. I have LA County, Inland Empire, Northern California. So, but
wait, you're in Orange County?
Yes.
The Housewives?
He's
I
like,
wouldn't even
no,
know.
thank God.
You could take care of them. You could send your resume to Andy. You could be helping them because they're a bunch of lunatics, but I love watching them anyhow.
Yeah,
Orange
those are
County always looks so
The
beautiful.
OC. Do you have any family that you work with that works with you or for you, or that you are mentoring?
Not right now. I've like worked with them and I've coached family members. They always come to me. Like once you have a certain profession, I think this can be applied in anything. You'll have family members being like, "Oh, you work in this. Why don't you help me in this?" And like I'm always I'm like the social worker of the family. So whenever somebody's going through something rough, oh, Jaime will have the resource. Just give him a call. He can therapize you. And I was like, that's not what I do. No.
Yeah, really.
But they try.
But why not? I mean, if I was your sister or brother, I'd be trying too. I'd be calling you all the time.
Let me ask you a question. How do you feel about post COVID, after getting the vaccination? I, like a lot of other people, felt completely different. Like something with the vaccine just altered me, and I felt completely different. And what I did was I sought out holistic approaches to make myself feel better. Because in this day and age, as you know, you could go to places where now they have RNs on staff and they could administer IVs, and they could do all these different things that back in the day, I guess you would have to either pay a lot of money for or have privilege to or whatever.
You'd have to have a prescription for certain things.
And now you could get an IV with B12 and minerals injected. You could do cryo. You could do infrared saunas. You could do, compression. There's just so much out there. How do you feel about that? Like, do you agree with all that? I mean, for me personally, it helped me tremendously, and I can only speak for myself. But how do you feel about it?
I know personally when I got the vaccination, it did get me. It hit me really hard. It was like an iron dosage of the COVID, and I was out for about a week, like week and a half, in just like in bed, bedridden, could not move.
Mm-hmm.
I got the vaccine 3 times, so one and then the 2 boosters, and each time it knocked me down. However, when I in July of last year, I got COVID for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It hit me. I was out for 3 weeks, and it was just like nothing compared to the vaccine. Like it was just like really hard. But I've have some immune issues, so I think if I didn't have the vaccine, I don't know if I would have survived it. Like I felt like I was in my deathbed. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so it hit me really, really hard. And I had a few members. I had like 3 family members that passed away from COVID. Like they got
Oh,
really
I'm so
hard.
sorry.
And it was really, really hard. But in regards to your question, it was hard. But I also went through some holistic. I went to chiropractor. I went through acupuncture. That's what actually got me into laughter yoga, to really help me with my own healing process.
Okay.
And I started doing more meditation, and I started feeling a lot better, because not being able to breathe, not being able to work the same way with your body, it's like your body's against you. It's like the whole, you don't even know yourself anymore. Like I would walk up the stairs, and it was one flight of stairs, and I was like so winded, like I just ran a marathon. And I was just like, that is like, who am I? Like it was kind of like a distortion in my body. I was like, I had to rekindle with who I was, and really strengthen my body to go back to the way it was. And it was hard. And in regards to all of the extra things that are here, I think if it's accessible to people, as long as it's being applied by a medical like a licensed professional, make it more accessible to people. Because I think there's these things have been around for years. It's just that financially they weren't made accessible for us.
Exactly.
Right.
And because of technology, now it's more accessible. Now we're actually able to be healthier and not go in debt because of it.
Yes, and that's really the point I bring up, is that it is now accessible, and it's really not unaffordable. And I can only speak for doing it myself, and feeling the you know what it did for me, and I'm a true believer. Like it's like I've seen God, but you know, in a holistic way, physically, and it really did wonders for me. And it's really to me a blessing that now these things are accessible to the average person.
Well, I met a lot of people, like, older people that were very healthy, very strong, never went to a hospital, never had an operation, never had any problems. And after they got those shots, like water around their lungs, water around their heart, like so many different things, and being in and out of the hospital and having this problem and that problem. And it was really scary, that, everything came so fast that I waited. I waited months upon months. I mean, like, I was like a hermit. I worked from home, so I didn't really care. I didn't have to go anywhere. People brought food and left it on the porch, because it's very hard to get through to get deliveries and stuff. And when you could, you did. But when I finally made the decision, because I couldn't fly down here until I had a shot. And I was a wreck. I was an absolute wreck. I was absolute wreck. And my doctor made me go to the hospital to have it because I have a lot of allergies. So I actually had my shot at the hospital, had no reaction to it, not the first one or the second one. And then he said to me, "That's it. You don't need any more. I only took 2. You don't need any more. Don't go." I never had a reaction to it, and I never got, thank God, I never got COVID. So no, I have not had COVID. So, but oh, stop. But I've met a lot of people recently that have had a lot of problems because of it. So, I don't know if you deal with people with being in your capacity, if you deal with different people who have had problems through COVID who come to you and say, look, I used to be a healthy person. Now look at me, have a lot of stress and anxiety over their life and what's changed in their life.
Yeah, I've had a little bit of both. So I think majority of the people that I work with and that I've encountered have been the PTSD that they suffered because of the whole pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a small section of individuals that are going through the health problems, and I'm kind of helping them rediscover their body like I did. And there's people that I have an individual that I work with that had COVID 7 times.
Wow.
7 times in the past. Yeah. So I know. I always I joke around with them, and I was like, "You're a collector. You wanted every single variant for yourself, like." But it was
you
insane.
Would think their body would build up an immune to it.
And they try and spin the bottle a lot.
Yeah, it was just like one thing after another, but it was 7 times, and each time they got knocked down and they got knocked down, but they're okay. But their body's in such a wreck. It's just like they have allergies that they've never had before. They've like their tests and say they can no longer eat spicy food because it just messed up their whole system. Like there's very different things. And I've had people who got the vaccination. And one thing we need to know about the vaccination is that they're injecting a minor version of the virus so your body can build immunity to it. However, depending on your immune system, you can get wrecked as well. Like me, I have a really bad immune system,
right.
So it wrecked
me every
time.
I know people that like you were out of it for a couple of weeks. You were sick for a couple of weeks.
I was sick as a dog the day I got it. I did the 1-shot Johnson & Johnson, and I went to a place that was literally 5 minutes from my house, and and they made me wait 20 minutes. And by the time I got home, I was dry heaving in my car. And then I ran in my house. I had to rip my clothes off and go to it. And I had a musical show to do that night. I didn't feel even semi-normal until 8 o'clock that night. I got the shot at noon. 8 that night, I finally felt okay to put clothes on and get out there and sound check and do all the stuff I had to do. And it really twisted me in a way physically that I've never experienced in my life. And I've been a pretty generally healthy guy my whole life. And I come from genetics. My
Healthy
grandfather
genes.
died at 1. You know, like we have some pretty good genetics in our family.
Right.
And I, for the first time, experienced what it felt like to feel like shit.
Yeah.
And it was very odd. And I've talked to many people that share the same feeling and went through the same thing.
But you know, there's people like you, Jamie, that I think it's wonderful. You know, people like you, what you do, the people you see, the people you try and help. I think it's wonderful because I think the world that we live in is so stressed out and so unhappy and so worried. All of us. I don't know about millennials. I think they don't worry about anything, but other than that, I shouldn't say that because they're cute. But they don't understand. They don't understand the magnitude of what goes on, and people are just stressing so tremendously these days. So someone like you is very important to be out there, to be doing that, to have the laughter yoga, the unicorn effect, to go out, get a better degree, go into companies, try and help those people, help them to be better workers. And as better workers, the company is going to thrive better, So I think it's wonderful. And I'm so happy that.
Sorry, Bri, I forgot to tell you she was going to do a monologue at the end of this.
No, really. I mean,
do a synopsis of life.
It's really amazing that you've chosen this path and you're very good at it. I mean, just the few things that we did was amazing, and I'm not going to forget it. And I am going to do it on the plane.
Do it.
No, honestly, I obviously just kidding around, but what you do is phenomenal. And really having that awareness and really trying to reach people in that respect and help them along. You don't know how far it goes. I mean, whether it's music, whether it's what you do, when you're touching people, you're touching people. And that's, it's a gift to you.
Yes.
And it's a gift to them. And it's more so a gift to you.
You're a gifted person, Jamie. And
well,
I really am happy that you agreed to be on the show because, we have a very eclectic show, even though it's like Funny Minds, it's still very eclectic, and I like a lot of different types of people.
We just want as interesting as possible.
You were so interesting. What you're doing is so great. And, of course, I'll let you know when this is going to air. And so tell us where people can find you.
Yeah, so you can go to my website at raygoza-consulting.com, and I'm pretty much on TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram at raygoza_consult. So you can just go over there. Feel free to just say hi, and if you want a consultation, then you can go ahead and we can have a free 1 hour talk. Or if you just have any questions, I'm always willing to help.
Great.
And if you need to contract me for any additional new yoga comedy moves, I would totally help you. Because I could bust some stuff out that we could do yoga wise and chant. It'd be great.
Let's go. Join one of the classes and we'll have fun.
I'm going to be your right hand man.
You're more than welcome.
All right. Well, for the audience, I hope you enjoyed Jamie and his yoga and his unicorn effect, and you can catch us on funnyminds.com. And if you go on, we're on Spotify and YouTube for the video portion, and every other platform on audio. And on our site, you're going to see we have 2 organizations that we're very that are very important to us. And it's Women's Breast Cancer and St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So there's a big purple button there. And if anyone feels inclined to push that button and make a donation, that would be wonderful. And we also have a store with crazy little funny mind stuff on there. And if you'd like to buy something, please go on the store and feel free. But today we
You
had
can buy purple hair dye.
yeah.
Thin Bits purple hair dye.
And if anybody wants to know what I use or what I do, just you can send us anything on the website if there's somebody you'd like to see on the program or anything that you liked, you didn't like, or want to see more of. There's a form there. There are emails there. You can email us, and we'd be glad to answer you. Anybody that
And if you
reaches
want a
out
part
to
two
us.
of Jaime Raygoza,
We'd be glad to have that. Yeah, like Jamie,
absolutely reach out. We
Yeah.
get Jaime back on. We'll track him down.
We'll see what he's doing.
I'll just
How far
like
he's got.
conspicuously show up at one of his classes.
I would love to.
Okay, Jamie, it's been a pleasure. And congratulations on everything you do. And good luck at the end of the month, finishing up. And go out there to Universal and Paramount and all those people because they need you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
I say to everybody, be happy, be wise, be careful, smile and laugh because laughter is the best medicine. So
Yes.
with that, I'm going to say goodbye, Jamie, and it's
Jamie,
been a
thank you.
pleasure, a pleasure.
Loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Okay,
man.
bye-bye.